Lou Woods was just an average, regular teenager. Well-behaved, he did well in school, had a passion for art and poetry, and loved his younger brother Jeff dearly. One day, he and Jeff were waiting for the bus when a group of skateboarding bullies, Randy, Keith, and Troy, began harassing Lou and his brother. Lou went up to punch Randy, who then stole his wallet, while one of his friends pulled a knife on him and Jeff. Lou tried to stop his brother, to no avail. Jeff walked right up to Randy, punching him and easily disarming him, using Randy's own knife to stab both Randy and Keith, taking them out, then turning and punching Troy, easily knocking him to the ground as well. And all Lou could do was watch as his brother easily and violently took out the bullies. When they saw the bus was coming, they ran for it, knowing they would be blamed. Lou, of course, was extremely on edge, but Jeff seemed strangely happy. The next morning, the police arrived, questioning Jeff and his mother about the incident with the bullies. Jeff began to confess, but Lou quickly interrupts him, saying it was he who had committed the crime, showing the police the knife and his wrists, where he had cut and bruised himself, for additional evidence of having actually been the one to fight the bullies. Glad that he had been able to defend his brother, Lou didn't fight, as the police took him away for a year in juvie, despite Jeff's desperate protests and pleas that Lou just tell the truth, that Jeff had been the one to attack the bullies, and not his brother. A few lonely days later, Lou was pardoned due to Randy's confession in front of witnesses at the birthday party that he had attacked Jeff and Lou. Lou discovered, after he was released, that his brother Jeff had once again been jumped by the trio during a birthday party and had been hospitalized for the horrible burns, among other injuries he had received. Weeks went by as Lou visited his brother in the hospital every day, spending his time next to Jeff after school, telling him mundane stories and what he had done during class time, and the rest of the time worrying about his brother. And then finally, the day came to remove the bandages from his precious brother's face. Lou was nervous, but it didn't matter what Jeff looked like. His brother was his brother, and Lou would love him just the same. Upon seeing Jeff's changed face, Lou could only stare in shock, and voice stuttering began to for the first time lie to his brother. Jeff, it's not that bad. Jeff begins to laugh hysterically and say his face was perfect, that he loved it. At this point, Lou and his parents, scared for Jeff's mental health, asked the doctor if everything was all right. Upon being assured that it was just the pain medication Jeff was on, they took him home. Later that night, Lou was awoke by a noise. Thinking it was nothing, he rolled over and drifted back to sleep. His mind, however, would not let him rest, going back over the day's events. He was sure he had already gotten used to Jeff's face. It was still his brother after all, no matter what he looked like. He woke up at the sound of a thud and a soft scream. There was a gut feeling in his stomach, informing him something wasn't right. But he ignored it, rolling over again and trying to go back to sleep. Having no success in calming himself down, Lou got up and started walking towards the door. A hand roughly covers his mouth, making him lash out until he was pushed over onto his bed, his assailant easily pinning him down. Some kind of liquid hits his forehead, sticky, smelling of copper, and he freezes, realizing two things. The person above him, his assailant, was his brother Jeff, and he was bleeding from freshly made gouges in both his cheeks, holding a kitchen knife whose blade reflected a dull red. In the dim moonlight coming from the window, Lou thrashed, trying to scream under his brother's hand. Shh. Go to sleep, his younger sibling cooed softly. Pain. That was all Lou could feel as Jeff slowly drew his knife across Lou's chest and abdomen, blood pooling onto the bed and dripping slowly onto the floor. His lunatic brother then proceeds to reach into the incision he's made and drag out Lou's organs. The older brother screams as his vision blurs, and he thought he heard Jeff say, rather creepily, "Good night, big brother." Lou awoke in a hospital room with an out-of-focus form standing next to him. His senses still dull with pain, and his mind hazy from medication and littered with unanswered questions. He sat up, hissing at the sudden pain of pulled stitches. The form next to him focuses into a nurse who tells him to relax and gently pushes him back onto his back. As Lou relaxes and closes his eyes, he was able to process the nurse's voice, quietly telling him that he was lucky to escape that psycho bastard that looked like a demon. Realizing she meant his brother Jeff, Lou frowned and his eyes snapped open. He leaned forward, driving his heart monitor crazy, only to have the nurse push him back down again, telling him, "Calm down, or I'll call the security to strap you down." Offended by her comment, Lou looked around, noticing a tray of tools as he heard a voice in his head. "Kill her!" At lightning speed, Lou snatches up a pair of scissors and rammed them deep into the nurse's eye. No matter what had happened, no one was going to say such things about his younger brother. Lou repeatedly stabbed the woman, his voice increasing in pitch as he yells, "Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!" She fell to the ground dead. The voice then insisted that Lou get out of here. He stumbles out of the bed, hissing in pain, yet disregarding it. As he walks to a mirror and viewing it, he notices his entire upper body was now riddled with stitches. Although he was not in the least bit concerned about them, he called the nurse annoying and a liar, refusing to believe that his brother was a bastard or a demon, even though his subconscious begged to differ. Lou cleaned up the blood with paper towels as best he could, and hid the corpse of the nurse under the bed. Navigating to the hospital exit, his abdomen occasionally cringing in agony, he knew he could never turn back. Lou had completely descended into madness. Jeffrey Woods was a murderer. Lou Woods was now one too. Little brother, where are you?